Good morning. This week we're going to be reading about Abram worships God. Abram and Sarai and Lot had to travel for many days before they would come to their new home. Every day seemed just like the day before. Every day the camels slowly traveled the dusty road as they carried the bundles and baskets that Abram would need in his new home. Every day the servant slowly guided the goats and sheep along the dusty path. And every day, Abram, Sarai, and Lot slowly led everyone toward their new home. We're following God to a new home, Abram would remind his family and servants as they traveled along. After traveling for many days in the hot, sandy desert, Abram came to a place with some shade. Nearby were hills and grassy valleys, pomegranates, figs, grapes, wheat, and all kinds of vegetables grew in this area. Abraham would be able to dig a well here to get fresh water. This is your new home, God told Abram. This is where you and your family will live. Abram and his family and his servants were glad to hear these words. Now they wouldn't have to travel anymore. There was so much to do now that they were in their new home, and so much to do before the sun went down. Quickly, fathers helped to set up tents, and families helped to unpack the bundles and baskets with clothes and pillows and blankets. Before the sun went down, there were many animals to be cared for. The sheep and the goats and the camels needed to have some grass to eat. The sheep and goats and camels probably wanted lots of water to drink. Then all the animals needed to be herded back together to sleep for the night. Before the sun went down, mothers had to get dinner ready for their families. Pots and pans were unpacked from the bundles and baskets, and mothers would mix flour with a little bit of oil to make flatbread to bake over a fire. Then families would eat supper together, and they probably talked excitedly about all the things to do in their new home. Before the sun went down, Abram began to pile rocks to build an altar. This was the first thing he did whenever he stopped to rest for the night. Carefully, he stacked one rock up the other, just like he had done so many times before. Now, we're in our new home, Abram thought as he carefully stacked the last of the rocks. I won't have to build a new altar every evening. We are home. Before the sun went down, Abram gathered his family and servants for worship. Abram invited his nearby neighbors to join him for worship too. He offered a sacrifice and thanked God for their new home. Abram was thankful for a safe journey to their new home and for the new land God had given him. Abram stopped every day to worship God. Because we love God, we like to take time every day to worship God too. The Lord is our God, and we will worship only Him. Joshua 24, verse 24.